What's up, everybody, and welcome to my NXT Stand and Deliver review. Obviously, it's afternoon right now, about 2 o'clock over here in Chicago time, and this long WrestleMania weekend that's going on right now with multiple kind of wrestling shows happening this weekend, especially within WWE, WrestleMania itself, Stand and Deliver, you saw SmackDown, maybe the Hall of Fame, or any other wrestling show that's going on, like Ring of Honor, if you watch that or not. I guess GCW having shows too, but usually it's like a whole bunch of wrestling shows throughout this time on WrestleMania weekend, Wale Mania, and all that. But we're here to talk about Stand and Deliver today. Obviously, Stand and Deliver started this afternoon about I think it was about 11 o'clock. I think it started over here. So Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Wells Fargo Center. Obviously, it had the same stage like it did yesterday for SmackDown. Basically, just to try to get to fit more people into the building. So that's what we saw from there. I didn't watch the pre-show. I didn't even remember the pre-show was on until my friend reminded me the show that was coming on and whatnot. So I didn't watch any of it. All I know what I saw was like the finish to Sean Spears and Joe Gacy, and Gacy won. Apparently, he got hit with a chair again before the show even happened, or the match even happened, and then he still ended up beating Spears pretty strong and whatnot. So yeah, I don't really got a lot to I don't really got a lot to say about that, honestly. Like, all right, Gacy won. He beat Spears, the chair guy. So it's kind of whatever, to be honest. But we actually do move on to the main part of the show. I know they kicked it off with the metaphor. I know they had a cinematic and whatnot. Basically talking about everything tonight. Well, I should say today for NXT Stand and Deliver. As the first match we did kick off was the Wolf Dogs, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier. A good tag match, good opener. Obviously fast paced due to Axiom and Axiom and Frazier. Braun Breaker, like, the guy's a beast. We already know that, especially when this dude ran up to the turnbuckle and hit a damn Frankensteiner onto Axiom, I believe, like, no hesitation. That was pretty cool. Like I said, it was a really good match. Frazier and I don't what Axiom, like a Spanish fly off the top rope, and it was like a 450 from Frazier, which was pretty crazy. But Breaker, ended up stopping him and whatnot. Corbin come back with a deep six. Basically going to the finish of this whole thing. I know they tried to end up hitting their finisher onto Corbin. Corbin what was it, like, what? No, Frazier, like the Nathan Frazier hit the Phoenix Splash onto Corbin, which was a near fall. Then Axiom got back in. Corbin, like, he's about to get the end of days. After that, onto Frazier, because he ended up hitting Axiom with it, but he, like, set up the end of days, kind of like threw him off, and then Corbin, not Corbin, but Breaker ended up hitting him with a spear, and Corbin picked up the win, and that was it. So yeah, Breaker and Corbin, the Wolf Dog, still retain the tag team titles. I actually thought they were going to lose the tag team titles here, to be honest. Given that Braun Breaker is on SmackDown at this point, I don't really think he has anything to prove in the NXT. I don't even know why they still have him down there, unless they want to have them lose to somebody else, or they, like, break up as a tag team, or one ends up accidentally losing or something. I guess that's what they're going for. Like, we've seen Breaker on SmackDown a couple times now, but all they really have to do is just dominate people with one spear, and that was kind of it. They're basically trying to book this guy like Goldberg, and the more I think about it now, especially with the spear and stuff. But yeah, I'm at this point, I kind of thought they would be losing right here. Then again, I didn't really think Axiom and Frazier be getting the title shot to begin with Stand and Deliver, but given that they are an actual team on NXT compared to the LWO and Gallows and Anderson, which I believe they will be facing and Breaker and Corbin next, and probably possibly win the tag team titles whenever the next, I don't know, maybe the next pay-per-view or whatever they have the match on NXT. I'm not sure, because like I said before, Breaker has really nothing to do in NXT at this point other than be the tag team champion. But like I said, we know the guy's on SmackDown. Like, we already know that. So I'm wondering why he's still here on this show. But that's basically what their next feud are going to be. So yeah, Breaker will still be sticking to NXT a little bit longer, I guess. So yeah, him and Corbin end up getting the win. So there you go. Right after that, I think this was probably one of the best matches of the night, or today. It was Obafemi versus Dijak, Donovan Dijak versus Josh Briggs for the North American Championship. Obviously, this match was brought to you by advertisement of Knuckles, which they had a giant guy dressed as Knuckles sitting behind them. Unlike Sonic, he doesn't chuckle. He rather flexes muscles. But I'm not gonna go into Sonic Adventure the theme songs right now. But hey, you may want to kick the rock, or you may want to be unknown from ME. If you get what I mean right there, hey, maybe Knuckles gotta go protect the Master Emerald right now. I'm not sure. But yes, they had Knuckles there right behind the commentary team. By the way, it was 3 people on commentary this time. Wade Barrett was added with Booker T and Vic Joseph. But yes, a triple threat match for the North American title. I have to say, this match was insane. I'm not gonna try to name every crazy spot, but one of the craziest thing I saw was what Femi ended up hitting, picking up Briggs, and like Dijak was on top of him, and like like it was like an electric chair, and they all basically went down, which was insane. What was like? What was I know? One of me like a Briggs hit like a big choke slam to the outside of the ring, which was pretty insane too. That was crazy. I'm trying to go from all the stuff shots I saw from here. But man, like I said, this was great. Dijak with the feast your eyes on like several people, which was pretty insane. Even no, it was that Tower Doom. That's what it's called. Not the electric chair. It was like a big Tower Doom electric chair thing. That's how that's when the crowd went nuts for that. But what? Even I think it was what Dijak ended up he had opened Femi with the Feast Your Eyes, and Dijak got the pinfall, but Briggs ended up pulling the referee out, which the crowd started chanting bullshit in. Dijak ended up dodging Briggs, who tried to get him with like a big, some type of dive, and he got out the way. Oba tried to go after Dijak again, but Briggs ended up, tackling him into the timekeeper, knocking the barricade down. Dijak ended up hitting the Feast Your Eyes again. I don't know how many moves he did, how many Feast Your Eyes he hit out there, but he ended up hitting it with Briggs then, and he got Briggs in the ring. He hit him with the Feast Your Eyes, but Oba ended up, he ended up picking him up, which I like how the camera was just zoomed in on the Dijak, and then Oba just picks him up by the neck saying, like, "You stupid man," and just power bombs Dijak on the Briggs, ends up pinning Briggs for the win. So this was a crazy triple threat big man match. A lot of big dives in here too. I enjoyed it. I thought this was one of the best things of the entire day. So it was a crazy match. I definitely liked it a lot. I did. And Oba ended up picking up the win. Like I said, Oba, this guy hasn't really had a lot of matches in NXT in general. They say he's like, on his 9th, 10th match, and he's already on pay-per-view. So Shawn Michaels really likes this guy. Like, I believe he really does. So they have pushed him very fast. Like, he won that breakout tournament, and he's already got a title belt, and now this is his first NXT pay-per-view here. So, good stuff. And I think having Dijak and Briggs in the match also helped too, because, some would say Femi's still green, but he's really good, though. So, this is a guy you need to be watching out for, Oba Femi, okay? He may be on the main roster quickly also by the rate he's going, but we'll see. What else do we have going on? I know they had the Metaphor interviewing people throughout the night. I know they had, like, Dallas Cowboys gear on earlier. And then, talking to Thea Hale, which she tried to Kimura arm lock him. Honestly, I felt like this was the break match right here. Which, this was an okay 6-woman tag. I know it was made at the last minute at the last minute on Tuesday, but this is kind of where it was going to go anyways, because it was JC Jane. I know Jasmine Nix had her arm in a sling, so she was out there with him. Kiana James and Izzy Dame, which some would say this is the Mean Girls or the Bad Girls Club, but for some reason, all three of them are dressed like the Powerpuff Girls for some reason with the color scheme. Going against Scrappy Doo and the crew, Thea Hale, Kalani Jordan, and Fallon Henley. It was a good 6-woman tag. Like I said, I don't really got a lot to say from this. It was a pretty good match. I feel like it was a cool down in a way. Fans seem to be behind Scrappy Doo there, Thea Hale, especially once she ended up getting a Kimura arm lock onto Izzy Dame for the win. And I know. Going back and looking at the match, you can see Fallon Henley kind of look at Thea Hale, looked like she was going to betray her or something at some point after the match, but it didn't happen. But I don't know if that's really going to lead into anything. But this whole feud has been mostly just the Mean Girls versus, Scrappy and the crew, because what Thea thought she was her friend, but she's not her friend, and JC's supposed to, help her into a grown ass woman. That's supposed to be the story that was going on with NXT and whatnot. Then you got other people involved in it too, which has been just random brawls on the show. So yeah, it was gonna end up being a 6-woman tag in general, but yeah, it was a good match. I don't really got a lot to say from it, but I felt this was kind of like the cool down at the same time. Right after that, Ava Rain, the general manager, basically said now they're going to be crowning an NXT Women's North American Championship. Basically, it looks like the North American title, but white, which looks like every title they kind of make when it comes to the women now. We'll just make it a white belt. But it's, they do have a lot of women down there in NXT. Still a lot of new ones in general, but they got a big enough division down there to do that. Kind of at least give the women something else to do. Give them another title and whatnot. I know some are gonna say, how come the main roster doesn't do it? And we know AEW does it too with the TBS belt. I do look at it. Could they use a mid card, like an IC title type of thing for the women? Possibly, because it doesn't look like the tag team titles are really doing that much in general. It's only one set. Yeah, it's only one set of women tag belts. I forget they don't have NXT women tag belts anymore. But it's not like nobody really cares about the women's tag titles in general anyway at this point. I'm sorry, like every time I ever see them either on Raw or SmackDown, I feel like NXT, they may get a reaction. I think they only worked last time because Asuka and Kyrie are, NXT alumnus, but every women's tag title match I really ever see, on Raw or SmackDown, it's basically crickets and nobody cares. At this point, just kill the belts, and I'm like my friend Shaggy there. Kill the tag belts and just give them a mid-card title, and we'll see if anything happens from there. But at this point, nobody doesn't care about the women's tag belts. Like, I'm sorry, they don't, okay? They just there. And like I said before, you see what happens on Raw and SmackDown, it's crickets and the crowd doesn't give a damn. They don't. So we'll see what happens now that they're giving the NXT one a mid-card title. So we'll see. But right after that, though, we actually had Julia sitting ringside with William Regal and Rossy Agawa. Now it's been a lot of big rumors about Julia going to WWE in general, so it looks like it's confirmed now at this point. Let me say this about Julia. I haven't watched a lot of Julia matches. I know it's a lot of internet hype to her. The only matches I've really kind of seen from her was like when they did that what was it, like that Worlds Collide Whom the Bells Tolls for like Impact and New Japan, and I think I watched one match of her in New Japan when she beat Willow for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship or something. So I know it's a lot of hype around her, and I see her name get brought up a lot. Even months ago, I heard about her was supposed to be going to WWE, anyways, but apparently she's that big of a name and stardom that a lot of people on the internet know about her work. So, like I said, I've only seen like a couple matches, so I don't know a lot. But obviously this must be a huge signing for WWE and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna see what goes on from there. Mm. Ah, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Julia. I'm assuming, like I said, I'm soon just going to NXT, so we're gonna see what happens though. Okay, and I don't know. I know I saw Rossy Agawa out there too. So like, did he get fired from Stardom, or did he just like leave it or something? And I keep hearing that he's supposed to be getting a job in WWE. Like, what's going on with that? I'm not even really sure, but I remember like a few months ago, and then Tony Khan tried to talk about him online or something. So I don't know if he's like with Stardom anymore, or he left Stardom, or he got fired from Stardom. I'm not even really sure. I know a lot of the roster and Stardom were very loyal to him. So yeah, I don't know what's going on now, but like I say, he was sitting right there with Julia and William Regal though. So like I said, we'll see what happens. But even my friend Shaggy said, like, don't really know a lot, but hey, she really do look good though. So I'll say that also. Next was the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Lyra Valkyria versus Roxy, or Bird Girl versus Heel Roxy. This is a really good match. And I definitely wanted Roxy to win this match. Because, I'm sorry, I look at, Lyra Valkyria's title reign. I feel like she got really boring after a while. Like, I'm sorry, like, she's good, but the crowd even turned against her and was starting to chant for Roxy. So, like, kind of think about that for a moment. So, I think, her title reign hasn't been all that. So, I'm not really surprised she won here. And given what I saw in NXT the other day, I figured Roxy was going to be winning this match and, getting the title. I will say her heel turn currently right now, it's been pretty good. I will say that. I do believe that they shouldn't leave her and Lyra out there to talk on the microphone too long. So it just kind of, let's say, it's not a bad promo, but it gets to the point where it just starts going on too long and just starts to drag, and it's kind of like, get to the point. I don't think both of them are like the best talkers, but I get what the logic they're trying to go into with the match and stuff, but tend to talk too long. But nah, given Roxy's new heel run, which has been kind of going good right now, and they're trying to make this work. So they're trying to give her edge right now in this heel run, and it's not bad. Lyra, I'm not really sure what happens next. Maybe they turn her heel. I'm not sure, but currently I think her run as champion for a while was just pretty damn boring. Like, it really was that boring. Okay, it just, promos weren't really all that, and like I said, the crowd did turn against her here, so they weren't. They just weren't with her after a while. So I'm not really surprised who won. I know Tatum Paxley got involved, but Roxy ended up taking her out too. But right after she ended up taking out Tatum, I know she'd have hit the pop rocks and then went back to going into that crossface, which she was able to roll Lyra back into the ring and win the NXT Women's title. So once again, Roxy is the champion. So I think this was the best decision to put right here. I know they had Julia looking at her, then after that, and Regal and Ogawa looking too. So obviously that something may lead into the future with both of those two in a match. So we'll see what happens. Right after that, we did have the NXT title on the line. Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo. Tony had a bit of different music. It was the same music, but it sounded a little bit more epic and whatnot, kind of adding some stuff to it. So not bad. I'm not surprised this match is the co-main event and Trick and Melo was the main. This was a feud I felt, it was kind of I'm not saying it was at the last minute, but it didn't have a lot of weeks to kind of build into it too, so it's kind of limited. And then again, I feel like the NXT title scene has mostly been between Ilya, Trick, and Melo for multiple kind of months. That's glad to see somebody actually different going for the NXT title now. But this was a really good match. It was very brutal. It was very hard hitting, as you expect it was going to be. Ilya, man, this dude looks like he just walks away from death half the time when you see his matches. One thing me and my friend Shaggy were talking about was when Booker T said, like, Ilya, he said, like when I first saw Ilya, I didn't think didn't have it in him and whatnot. And he was like, this man beat Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to say right now, for the UK title when Walter was already undefeated for 500-600 days and was like the first man to beat him in this company and whatnot. So I would say it kind of proved that Booker T wasn't really watching the show, I guess, or really knew about him before that. But no, Ilya, like I said, man, them forearms, man, be looking deadly half the time. But I thought Tony D was really good here. One thing I like was when they went to the Spanish announce table. Ilya ended up hitting with the H bomb onto the table, going through it, which was pretty deadly. Tony, trying to curb stomp him in and hit him with a big Uranagi after that. Like you try to go for that fisherman buster, that's his finisher and stuff. But Ilya ended up hitting Tony with the torpedo Moscow because he kept elbowing him to the neck several times, and he ended up hitting one more H bomb from the top rope for the win. So brutal stuff. Okay, I know it wasn't a lot of build here, but it was still a really good match. The crowd did get into it later on. So like I say, Ilya was gonna win. One other thing to point out was that Stax and them tried to give Tony the brass knuckles throughout the match, but Tony wasn't gonna do it. Tony wanted to do it clean, and that may lead into something, so we'll see what happens from there. I don't know where Ilya goes to next, because he ended up shaking Tony D's hand right after, out of respect, before walking off. So I don't know who his next opponent will be. But like I said, I definitely enjoyed the match, given the limited build, because like I said, most of it was just mafia stuff, and like, okay, you're gonna get in the car. Like, this whole bill was just Tony D using his mafia powers to like intimidate Ijla. Like, okay, you want to go into my restaurant and stuff. You may be sleeping with the fishes. I got this FBI gimmick and whatnot, but hey, I got all these like 15 mafia guys standing here. You're gonna get in the car anyway and have a bunch of saw blades. If we're not gonna cut this guy up and sleeping with the fishes and everything. So, hey, forget about it. Get what I mean now? But nah, overall though, this is a really good match though. Brutal stuff. Like any Ilya match, you're gonna get some type of brutal physical style match out there. So definitely liked it a lot. But moving on from the NXT title match, I think they had the metaphor back out there again to say it was like the biggest attendance in NXT so far. I believe like it's an all-time attendance record. Maybe because you made the stage look smaller and just try to fit more people into the building. So that's probably a thing to why it looks bigger and whatnot. So I can take count into that. One thing also before I actually get into the main event, to add is that what was it? I know it was like a lot of advertisement. Like, I know they advertised Knuckles, but even during the women's title match, they were advertising Fallout. I guess Fallout has a TV show now, so they had to promote that too. Like, these advertisement matches sometimes, it'd be pretty hilarious when you be looking at some of these feuds. But hey, make sure you have the cinnamon toast crunch there, okay? But into the main event, we have Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. Carmelo Hayes' entrance, having Trick Williams' jersey up top, basically about to hang it. This dude basically came out like Killmonger, from Black Panther and whatnot. And Trick Williams ended up, also having, whoop that trick chant and have like the boxing robe and stuff. So, they were hyping him up big. I'm gonna be honest with you about this match. The match was good, but I thought it was very short. And maybe because they were strapped for time, because we know WrestleMania is in a few hours, so we know that's coming on later on tonight. Because I was actually kind of surprised how fast this match went until I kind of looked at the time. It only went under 15 minutes, and it was good, but I didn't think it was great, really, especially with all the build and all the hype and just putting all the story into it, which I understand why this was the main event, given the story. It was the biggest story out of this whole show in general, because like I said, the NXT title didn't really have a lot of build to it, but Melo and Trick had like months, damn near a year, when you want to think about it, worth of build. Like, well, maybe up to the betrayal thing, because like I said, we put both of these two together almost 2 years ago now, and then the betrayal and all this stuff, and doing a slow, like I said, there was a lot of slow burn going into this match. So I was expecting something way bigger here. Like, the crowd was with it, of course. They were with Trick Williams, but it was just good. I didn't think it was as great as I expected it to be. I thought it probably could have went maybe another 5, maybe 10 minutes out there. I would have thought that. And I know they kind of, tried to focus on Trick's knee, going on into that. Maybe they could have went into more. Then, you had a ref bump out there, which one ref ended up going down, and, Trick ended up taking a chair and start hitting Melo with it and stuff. But, like I said, once he got hit with the chair, then, Trick hit him with the chair, and then the referee ended up getting away, getting back up, and then, took the chair away from Trick, and Melo hit him with a low blow in after that for a near fall. Melo ended up hitting the referee, then with a knee strike. So, like I said, the referee went down twice, by the way. And then, Melo hit the nothing but net. Another referee came out. Trick kicked out. Melo tried to use the chair, but Trick came back with his big knee strike, and that was it. And to be honest, I actually thought the original referee was going to get up and say, like, hey, I'm the official here, you're not the official, and then maybe we're going to get another 5, maybe 10 more minutes of the match. But no, it just kind of ended just like that. Like, it just ended. Like, Trick Williams won, and that was it. It was a good match. Like, the match didn't suck, but I felt like it was so much hype going into it, I expected it to be a little bit better. Like, especially it's supposed to be the big blow off ending to this feud, which I feel like this feud is just going to continue now. That's what I feel like it's going to go into. Because honestly, I kind of thought whoever was going to lose here, I actually thought Melo probably be just going to the main roster after this, at this point in time, which maybe he probably still will. I don't know. Maybe Trick Williams will be going back for the NXT title against Ilya Dragunov now, since he beat Carmelo Hayes, and Ilya doesn't have an opponent right now, so Trick could possibly, go back and face him. So that's what I kind of see coming from all of this. But you know, like I said, it was a good match. But given so much hype around it, I thought it would have been better. Like I really I kind of really wanted it to go better because, like I said, you had Young Buck, like I said, I almost say Young Buck. You had ref bumps, and then right after that, the chair, and then the other referee pulled away the chair, and then he just got an unexpected win in. So I don't know. I just expected this match to be better, damn near greater than this, and I was looking at this match like a sleeper match that could probably steal the whole WrestleMania weekend, but. Nah, it was good. That was just kind of it. And there's a whole bunch of rep bump finishes out there. So, like I said, a lot of hype in this match. People were excited to see it. A lot of build going into it, but the match itself was just good at best. That's all I can say. Overall, though, I still enjoyed the show. My favorite match was probably the Triple Threat North American Title match. I thought the tag match was pretty good too. Um, um, what else? The women's title was a really good match. The NXT title was actually good. I actually almost thought that was a little bit better than the main event almost. Like even Ilya and Tony D was damn near a really good match. I almost thought it was a little bit better than the main event. The women's match was, it was just good. So it's not really nothing bad about this show. Nothing really too bad. Like it was a good show. Like the pre-show, I didn't even really watch. I only saw the finish of it, so I don't have much to say about that. But the overall show itself, it was a good show. But I think my favorite match was the Triple Threat North American Title match. Like that was my favorite thing throughout today's show. Okay, so that's what I really think about it. But overall, I thought Stand and Deliver was a really good show. I don't think it was like great, that great, but I overall enjoyed the majority of the entire show. Okay, so that's my take on it though for NXT Stand and Deliver. So tell me, what do you think about NXT Stand and Deliver today? Did you think the show was good? Did you think it was great? Do you think the main event could have been better? What do you think about Roxy regaining the NXT Women's Championship? Or Ilya retaining his title and whatnot, because we only had like one title change throughout this entire show. So excuse me. Like I said, one title change throughout the entire show. So mostly everybody retained from here. Like I said, mostly everything was basically a damn near title match except for the main event and the 6-woman tag there. So yeah. What did y'all really think about the show though? Like what would you really rate NXT Stand and Deliver throughout the day, and if you thought it was that great or good? So yeah, tell what y'all think about it, okay? Other than that though, that's my review. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Hooded Knight 890. Hit this like button, hit the notification bell. Obviously, later on tonight, we have WrestleMania 40, night 1. We will be back for a review for that show. Well, part 1 of that show tomorrow. And, of course, we have WrestleMania 40, night 2 tomorrow night for a Sunday. So, like I said, it's a big weekend going on around here. It's a lot of wrestling shows happening. And right now, this is probably my first review out of these shows throughout this weekend. So, this is kind of easy one to get to because, hey, this thing ended up going before 2:00 p.m. So, hey, I got time to prepare before later tonight. But other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all then. Peace out.